Okay, here we are back on assignment 2 for Unit 4. Right, so we've looked at this introduction section, and then the thing that will throw most people now is using the case study. So we're just going to have a look at the case study and explain it. I'm just going to look at the case study and explain it a little bit more. Right, so let's scroll down to the case study. All right, so blah, 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 blah. 28 skilled engineers who manufacture the products of and 4 salespeople on her payroll. Since starting the business, she has been taking care of all the accounting herself. She is looking to make changes within the business and has hired you as a management accountant. There's something that you've always aspired to organise and improve the accounting systems. Emily applied traditional costing methods during all 7 years. So we said before, traditional costing methods is you look at the big lump of your overheads and you think, well, I make 3 products, let's split the overhead by 3. Yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason for it, but it's fairly straightforward and fairly easy. Yeah? So, here we are. Shiny Bikes Limited placed an order for 150 units. The order is expected to be delivered in 4 weeks' time. Since it's a customised order, Shiny Bikes will be invoiced at cost plus 20%. Right. So, this is her solution using a traditional costing system. Cost equals material cost plus labour cost plus... All right. So there we go. Yeah. Total overhead divided by the total number of hours it will take to produce the bike. That seems like an awful... Sorry. The total amount of hours in the year. And then that gives us the amount of labour per hour. Okay. The actual number of labour hours spent on the order is 125. Yeah. So 125 multiplied by the amount per hour gives us our overhead that needs to be recovered on this order. All right. Yeah. You with that? Okay. So what I want you to do then on your Excel spreadsheet, and hopefully you've watched my quick introduction to Excel, is I want you to take this information and I want you to place it in an Excel spreadsheet. So you might start with writing in a cell total overhead, and then you put that number there. And then underneath that, you might write total hours, and then in the cell next to it, you write 7,000. What I don't want you to then do is just write equals and then just type in that number. Yeah. What I want you to do is I want you to say equals and then select that cell and then divide it by that cell. So you're actually doing the calculation in Excel. All right. I want you to do that wherever there is a calculation, like here. Yeah. I want you to actually multiply the numbers, those 2 numbers, to get that result. Okay. Right. So that's the first thing that we need to be aware of. Okay. So I mean, a lot of these numbers are given for you. Yeah. And then of course we've got the 20%. So that's our total order. And then we multiply that by 1.2. That adds our 20% profit margin on the end. Okay. Now, you, because you are this good, have already come up with a breakdown, an ABC breakdown of how things could be broken down in the factory. Okay. So activity, production of components, driver, machine hours, assembly of components, number of labour hours. Okay. Packaging. Yeah. Number of units that you package. So they package 2,000 units a year. Delivery, 2,000. Yeah, package 2,000. You hope you're delivering 2,000, don't you? So those numbers should be the same. Yeah. Setup costs. Yeah. Maintenance. These are all over a year. Yeah. So that tells you what the driver is, what it is you're measuring. Yeah, and the annual usage. And this is the key thing about activity-based costing, is that you've got to measure something. You've got to say, well, this is how much it costs, and this is what we can measure against that cost. And because you've done some reading around your work from the Moodle, you'll appreciate that this can make things more complicated because you need to put systems in place to be able to measure things, and that might be a disadvantage of activity-based costing. Hint, hint, you might need that for the final section. So, all you need to do at first then is copy and paste this table. Yeah, so you've put all this information in, and this is the traditional. Yeah, but we need to know the traditional, because until we've worked out the traditional, we can't then compare it to our activity-based costing. Okay, so this is our traditional up to here. All right. So copy and paste that table in. Yeah, make sure that this is a calculation. Yeah, make sure that that is actually a calculation that's the sum of all of that. Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, you might even. Yeah, okay. Right. So scrolling down, we're looking at then, this is where you need to do some work. So activity-based costing is dealing with overheads, but we still got those direct costs. Yeah, and those direct costs will be the same as the direct costs that we had up here for the traditional method. Yeah, have to be. Yeah, but yeah, so direct cost of materials, direct cost of purchased components, and the labour costs. Those are our direct costs. Okay. So we still need to include those in the price that we're charging shiny bikes, don't we? So if we don't include those in the price that we're charging shiny bikes, then we're going to be out of pocket. Yeah. But what we want to know is how much of our yearly overhead do we put onto this order? Okay. Right. So this is almost exactly the same table as this one here. But this time, this is how it breaks down for this order of 150 bikes. Okay. I will confess to anybody that's just that's looking at this now, I've just changed those numbers to 150. They were 45 and 55, which seems like a previous typo on my part. So if you've calculated and submitted with the numbers that were there, that's fine. If you've not submitted, it should just be a simple thing of changing a couple of numbers in your spreadsheet. Okay, so if you could correct that. All right. Okay. Yeah, so essentially all you have to do, yeah, if it costs us £766,523 for 8,500 hours, how much does it cost for 110 hours? And that's not a complicated calculation, is it? But that is a calculation you can do on a spreadsheet. Yeah. If for 7,000 labour hours, it costs us 362,845, how much does it cost us for 95 labour hours for this job? Yeah? And so that's what we're working out here. Okay? So we get a total cost for this activity usage. We add that total cost to that plus that plus that, and then we add our 20%, and that's how much we charge shiny bikes. And that's what I want to know. Okay, so hopefully that explains that a little bit more. Finally, you should reflect on the results of your activity. Explain how costs are categorized. So, how do we choose these categories? How do we choose them? Yeah. And again, that goes back into the thing. We need to look at our production and think about how things can be measured. Yeah. And the easier it is to measure things, then that perhaps makes for an easier activity-based costing. Yeah. You could, activity production of sprockets, activity production of part A, production of part B, production of part C. You could break it down into endlessly small parts, but that makes the ABC more and more complicated. So it's finding that balance between something that gives you more information than a traditional based model and something that becomes just a bit too much, a bit overkill. Okay. So finally, identifying those cost areas that have the greatest impact on profitability. Well, which cost area will have the greatest impact on profitability? It's going to be the most expensive one, isn't it? Yeah. The one that has the most impact on profitability is the one that costs you the most. Yeah, if you can reduce the one that costs you the most, that's going to have a bigger impact on your profitability. Profitability, easy for me to say. Okay, and finally, evaluate the reasons for producing an activity-based cost model, give advantages and disadvantages of ABC. Okay, and obviously this is your distinction area because we're using that evaluate word that BTEC loves so much. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, we're meaning compare. Give us some, compare the advantages and disadvantages of traditional and activity-based costing. Why do we do activity-based costing? Why is it better than traditional costing? Why is ABC better than traditional costing? But what are the disadvantages? And I've mentioned some of those in this screencast. There's loads of stuff on Moodle that you can use to do your own research and write that up. Okay, so just remember, use my 5 rules for copy and pasting. If you do copy and paste, don't copy and paste and just change a few words because chances are it won't make sense. Do copy and paste and tell me why you've copied and pasted that text. What does it tell me? What has it defined? What does it? Why did you bother with that? Yeah. Any technical words in there? Any words that we've not covered in class? Tell me what they mean. Then I know that you understand what you've copied and pasted because that's the game we play. Yeah. I need to know that you understand what you're doing and you know what you're doing. And then finally, tell me where you've got it from. Yeah, where did you get this wonderful piece of text from? Yeah. Give me a link to the page, to the web page where you got it from. All right, that's not too much to ask, is it? All right. Thank you very much.